Welcome back to episode 5 of Alex's Disorganized Thoughts. As always, thank you for joining me on the YouTube or on the pod, however you're listening, consuming the podcast. Thank you. It is truly appreciated. All the feedback, likes, comments, downloads, always appreciated. Continue it up. Shows me the support you all are giving me, and I truly appreciate it. As we get started, let's get it going on this week's episode. First thing that we have is the jersey of the day, and today's jersey is a colorful one, as y'all can see behind me. It is the inaugural, obviously, because it's their first year in the MLS, Charlotte FC Pride training kit. So this was their Pride Month training kit. It's the one I'll be wearing to the game on Saturday. I chose it for the simple reason that Pride means a lot to me, just for the simple reason that I don't understand why they have to go through all these fights for just basic things that anybody else can do. And it really doesn't affect me per se, so I don't understand why everybody gets, in such a huff and a puff over gay marriage or whatever, issue that someone wants to have. I personally know a lot of people who are members of the community, and I support them wholly. It doesn't change who they are, and again, it doesn't it doesn't affect me. I don't understand why people get, so riled up over marriage and all that. If they want to get married, who cares? Does it affect your marriage if they get married? No, it doesn't. I just, like I said, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. So I will continue to support them until I feel that they finally have just the basic things that every other couple has. I don't understand why it becomes such a whole big thing when it comes to rights for the LGBTQIA plus demographic and crowd. I don't get it. Human rights are just everybody's rights. They should, if they want to get married, so be it. If they want, they should be allowed to have the same things that everybody else has. No one should be discriminated because of who they love. Love is love, and that's just my personal opinion and where I stand on it. But again, we are looking forward to going to Charlotte. It's going to be a good time. Once again, I'm going to get to say this name again because it's always fun. I'm going to good old Frugal McDougal's to make sure I get that Sweevens Cove for my boy Mondo. Weekly shout out for Mondo there on the pod. And wait, what's that noise?
You called?
Holy crap, everyone. Look who it is. I've been shouting them out every week, and Mondo has magically appeared on the pod. What is up, my dude?
Married life, bro. That's what's up.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I see. We're in the master bedroom today because
the master bedroom, it's huge, as you can see. I mean,
man.
I can touch that side. I can touch that side.
Hey, you're just like a giant, bro. You're a giant amongst us mere mortals, dude. So, bro, how's the first month of married life been treating you so far?
It's been interesting, man. I gotta say, it's like you think you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay. For those of you that don't know, we were dating for almost 10 years. We hit 10 years in November. And it's just different. Obviously, living in the same space, you do one thing, she does another thing, but it ends up working. So it's cool in that sense. We really haven't had a clashing of styles, I guess you could call it. So
I was about to ask, since you brought up living together now, how's that adjustment been? Because I know, me personally, one of the biggest things that helped me was I lived with Morgan before I married her. It was almost like a trial, quote unquote. I hate to put it that way, but kind of what it's kind of what it ended up.
It's like that 7-day trial before.
Yeah, it was. I wanted to make sure I didn't want to cancel it before the free trial ended.
Exactly. You want to make sure.
And that sounds terrible. I love you, honey. You're worth a whole lot more than the free trial.
You see what happens. I show up and I get
you show up and I'm gonna get yelled at. But no, and that first month or two, and even now, we still have our issues, where, I'll do one thing, it's just something I'm used to always doing, and she wants it another way, and
cleaning,
just
cleaning is that.
Typically, typically
It's cleaning.
is where it relies.
I mean, like in my
Is
defense, I thought I swept, right. I thought it was clean. It
oh
wasn't
no, it's
clean.
never
It
clean
wasn't.
enough,
It was
sir.
no, but it wasn't.
No, I could.
But like, I looked at the table. I'm like, oh shit! I thought I
Oh,
cleaned
and
it.
then make sure you go behind doors, my friend. Like if like we always leave like I say like the bathroom
Yeah, you
doors
don't want to
always
leave like
open.
that one
That
angle.
little yeah, bro.
I learned
They'll
that. I
catch
was
you.
cleaning the
They'll
bathroom the
catch
other
you.
day.
They'll catch
I
you
closed the door. I'm
every
like, oh my
time.
god, there's a lot here.
Every time they'll catch you, bro. So yeah, no, that's definitely a good that's
That's
a
been the
good
tough
call out.
thing. Is
How's the cooking been? Because that
listen,
sometimes
I'm
can get
I'm the cook in the
okay.
relationship, like, and she's cool with it. So we kind of came up to like an agreement, like pretty much I cook, she cleans type thing.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
we end up kind of both cleaning because it's faster. Because for those of you that don't know, we don't have a dishwasher in the apartment, so we're the
Oh.
dishwashers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
then yes. Then yeah, it
So
makes more sense to
so yeah, we do it because like I feel bad. Like I'm just sitting there watching TV with my feet up, and then she's in there cleaning everything.
Bro, you slaved in the kitchen, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, she
No,
doesn't
but I
like
get
just
you.
sit there. So she's like setting stuff up. So it ends up like it just ends up working because I'm like, all right, so I'll spray it with like this freaking magic spray. I don't know what it is. It's some type of soap that you spray and all the gunk comes off when you go to
Oh,
clean
that's a
it.
good one. We use a lemon Clorox. I don't even know what the hell it
Right.
is. Like you just spray it on the stove. I wipe it down. I actually made breakfast this morning. Morgan was quite proud of me. Yeah, bro. No, I sliced and diced some onions and peppers and then cut my fingers. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
look at that.
that's important. You got
look at that. Still got 10 fingers. So that's good, man. But let me ask you, man. Natalie posted a lot of pictures. You did not because, well, you're married to her, so you don't have to anymore. I feel like your relationship.
Hey, we started collaborating towards the end.
Yes,
you noticed.
Yes.
She realizes like, all right. She's
yes,
like,
yes,
you're
yes.
Posting. I'm like, but you're posting all of them. So she's like, all right.
You know what, dude? I'll be very honest with you. If you notice, Morgan doesn't post. I'm the one that does all the posting. Right. She just gets tagged. It's just the way it works. So there's no shame in that game. However, like. You guys look like you had a lot of fun. You guys were go in California.
We didn't.
I kind of wish.
Dude.
I kind of wish you took a day or two to kind of relax and do nothing. Me personally, that's just me talking. But that being said, you guys were like you squeezed that itinerary and then you packed it in, man.
Yeah, because we were trying to hit as much as possible because there was like specific places that we wanted to go and hit. Like, for example, San Francisco, she wanted to go to Alcatraz, which I wasn't the biggest fan. I'm like, okay, cool. We got to go to Alcatraz because it's Alcatraz.
Bro, it's the Rock, bro.
It's the Rock. But it was freaking cool because we went at night.
Oh,
so it started getting dark. So
that's
it was
cool.
like, it was cold as hell for the record. Like we went there, I'm like, thank God I brought a jacket. Because they was like, oh, take a jacket. I'm like, okay, why? Like it's cold in San Francisco. But then we got there. I'm like, oh my God, this is miserable. Now I understand why people hated being in jail here.
Well, I remember when I was out in San Diego and it got really, really cold at night too. Like California, it's just, I mean, Florida's lower, so it's a different climate. And you don't you think sunny California, you think like Florida, like the weather's kind of, but it is nowhere near the same thing.
No, I'm like, okay, cool. It's I forgot what it was. It was when we went to LA, because that's where it hit like 90 something. So we're like, okay, cool. We went out. I'm like, this doesn't feel like Miami because the humidity was completely different. Like I walked out, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then of course I ended up getting a headache because I didn't drink enough water.
Sounds about right.
But then Mondo got dehydrated because that's just,
Mondo ways.
But no, the reason she had all the pictures is I was driving. Like I mean, and the thing is, like, there was one point where I had a neck ache the entire trip because of the flight.
Oh,
like,
really?
I feel like just sitting there, like, and we didn't stop. So, like, that night we got to San Francisco, slept, and then we drove to San Francisco. I mean, to Napa, which was amazing, by the way. I'm not a wine guy.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that was awesome.
Awesome.
Like, it was hotel wise. I think it was my favorite because it was like a little bed and breakfast. Whatever, you went downstairs, they served you breakfast, like homemade. It was amazing.
That's awesome, bro.
That was one of the highlights. And going to SoFi Stadium for me, SoFi Stadium was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Was it? Okay, because I was gonna ask you about your stadium experiences because you went to 3. One of them is very, very high on my bucket list, and that's Chavez Ravine. So I'm very, very jealous that you got to go to Dodger Stadium on July 4th for a game. Like, don't start me. Don't start me on that one. But like, because I was telling Morgan La Esposa when I saw those pictures, I'm like, oh, they went to Chavez Ravine. That's awesome. Like, that's bucket list for me. So like, just
It was
how
sick
awesome
as
is
hell.
Chavez Ravine? Because you guys were there, like you guys got to see the sunset there, right?
Yeah, because we got there, we ended up forgetting to put sunscreen, so we were paranoid because we were in right center, so we were getting the sun to the face. So I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna end up with a sunburn. Going to a baseball game is gonna be miserable. But the way it was set up, they didn't plan. There's no way they planned this into the the way that it was built.
Yeah.
But the sun just ended up getting covered, and then like yeah, we were there for the sunset, and then we walked out before the fireworks because I was trying to avoid all the people that were there. I'm like, you know what,
Yeah.
place I don't know. Let's
It's a
just
little bit
go
safer.
outside. Let's just
Yeah.
go outside. But we went to the car and fireworks everywhere, bro.
That's
It was
awesome,
cool. They
bro.
opened up the field and you could have sat on center field
Oh,
to
that's
watch it,
cool.
but everybody was lined up. I'm like, there's
No,
no
that would have
way.
been
There's no
crazy.
way.
That would have been crazy to go to. No, that's cool. And I need to ask because it is a big topic. I mean, I know you saw Comic Con, the highlights. So I'm gonna be talking Marvel a little bit later on. How was Avengers Campus over in Disneyland?
It is quite possibly one of my most favorite things that I've ever done in any theme park.
Wow.
Honestly, because look, and I say because Alex knows because I told him, but for everybody that's listening up, I hadn't done Star Wars until I did it there. So what was cool about Star Wars is you have that full immersion experience.
Right.
You get me? Like that once you walk
Sure.
into Star Wars, you're like, holy crap, I'm there.
Yeah.
And Avengers Campus was that, but different in a way because the fact that they made it a campus kind of made it cool because the Spider-Man ride, Web Slingers, is probably one of the coolest rides I've ever been on because pretty much what it is, it's a 3D ride, like the one that we have in Orlando,
Right.
but it's different. So you have to help Spider-Man. So basically, you put on glasses and you have to pretend to shoot webs like with
Oh,
your
that's pretty
hands,
cool. Oh, that's
and
pretty
it
cool.
actually goes to where you're doing. And that for me, like, was crazy.
That's
And
nuts.
my other favorite place there was Pim's Lab. It's like Pim's Laboratory. It's like a restaurant. So
Yeah.
basically, they have like it's like a huge chicken sandwich with like a little bun on top. So it's everything is like different sizes, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But it's just everything was like topical. You get me? Like everything from that to they had a shawarma booth.
Oh
So of course we
yeah.
had shawarma. Of course we had shawarma. Like
How
we got
was
off.
shawarma? How was the
It was
shawarma?
actually really good. Like I've had shawarma before,
Yeah.
but I'm like, how good is shawarma gonna be
In a park, in a theme park.
park? It was actually really good. All the food in California, period, for the most part, was pretty good. We had like two experiences that were like, but
Right.
for the most part, even in the park, was amazing.
That's awesome, bro. That is really really cool to hear. I'm looking forward to my own Marvel experience. We're going on that Disney cruise in October.
That's awesome.
And ironically enough, I guess Ant-Man is the restaurant guy. The restaurant on the boat is Ant-Man themed. Like it's a whole
Oh, that's
Ant-Man
cool.
show. And I've only caught the wind of this because everybody's talked about it. He opens the show with a joke about him going into Thanos' butt, essentially. Like he openly acknowledged
Right.
it.
He's like, okay,
Acknowledges it.
let's talk about this.
So yeah, let's talk about this. So yeah, no, that's awesome to hear that you love Disneyland, man. That the trip was absolutely great. I don't know who that was or what that was behind me. It could have been the child. It could have been the wife. My head was conveniently blocking the way perfectly enough. And that's what happens here on the pod and YouTube video as well, because people can see that now. Which
yeah,
is,
now people can see it. Back then, when it was
when it was just I can just describe it and people can be like, yeah, sure, whatever. But now people are going to see it.
Part of me wishes we had a video of your microphone falling that one time.
Oh, that was terrible.
that would have been an awesome
That
video.
was terrible. Oh man, but dude, that was, I mean, it's been an awesome time to catch up though.
And I gotta go. Sorry to interrupt, but husband duties call. I gotta get to cooking. I'll see you later.
God, there's that sound again. Well, that was surprising to say the least. Well, thanks, Mondo, for responding to the shout out, I guess. Like I said, as I was talking to Mondo, I was planning to talk about all the madness that happened at Comic Con this last weekend with Marvel. They definitely, not to sound punny with Thor, I guess, threw the hammer down. Quite frankly, it's amazing as a Marvel, I guess, super fan like I am. It was very exciting to see all the announcements they had as far as the animation and the MCU proper itself. Like it is Like they announced all of phase 5, all of phase 6, like not fall, excuse me. They announced three things in phase 6, probably the three biggest things that people were expecting, except one. Um, and they announced what's going to round out phase 4. But before we get into movies and TV, I definitely want to spend some time talking about what they're doing on the animation side. Because I'm not gonna lie, when the animation first came out with What If, I was very, very skeptical about it. I don't know if I really want to get into it. A cartoon. Not that a cartoon is beneath me or by any means of the imagination. It's just I didn't see like the appeal. Then, like I've said, finding out that it kind of plays into Doctor Strange a little bit and it helps. So I got through watching What If and like everything Marvel, it was absolutely amazing. Um, so some of the things they announced on Friday for Comic Con, which by the way, it was incredibly hard to try and follow along as to what was what because I felt like things were changing. The times, like you would see it listed as one time, but that was Pacific, and you get, because it's on San Diego, so it was quite confusing to follow along. But the first thing that I found really cool is the cartoon series Spider-Man Freshman Year. So they showed a lot of images in regards to that. The big announcement there, I believe, is that Charlie Cox as Daredevil will be a voice on the show. Like they've brought him back from Netflix, and I feel like they're just using him like wherever they can throw good old Daredevil, which we'll talk about where else he's going to be appearing soon. But his voice will be in Spider-Man Freshman Year, which even though it hasn't been released yet, um, it's already been renewed for a second year, Spider-Man sophomore year. So that I mean, the naming people were really hard at work with that one. I do think though it might be done after that. I don't know how much more they could do because this is technically like almost like a prequel story of Spider-Man of sorts. Like it's before he met Tony in Civil War. So basically, what it's going to be was freshman and sophomore year because I believe he was a junior during Civil War. So he's got like it's probably going to be only 2 seasons in typical Marvel fashion. But it'd be curious to see what they do. They do have a lot of different characters there, and seems like they're going to go a very very cool route. The animation looks really cool as well. Another show that I look, as a kid, I grew up watching the X-Men series. You know what I'm saying? Saturday mornings, I was watching X-Men with the Sentinel. And I mean, I still love that old school stand-up 90s arcade video game, like Colossus just yelling when everybody flies off around them and then Nightcrawler flying around the screen. So I was very excited to see the first like official images from X-Men 97. X-Men 97 is basically the continuation of the 92 series. It essentially picks up where it left off, which I guess I forgot about this because it's been a very long time. But Magneto was the leader, so he's wearing a very large M costume. So I'm very curious to see kind of how this is gonna play out. Um, what I am excited though is that they're bringing new characters into the show. I know they're bringing like Emma Frost and they're bringing like just a whole lot. I know Nightcrawler. Ironically enough, Nightcrawler wasn't actually in the show. Probably one of the most iconic characters as far as like the video game, based on the same like style and everything. So the fact that he wasn't in the show and now they're bringing him in, I think is really really cool. And again, they're keeping the animation the same, so I'm really really excited to see what's coming on there. Another big thing of note that I found very interesting. Um, so Disney Plus, the day before, so I think the day before they started with the announcements, added, I want to say it's their first like R-rated movies because I don't think there was anything there before. There was some TVMA stuff, I mean, because the old Daredevil series and that stuff was on there. Even though I believe that's watered down. I need to watch it again. Um, but they put Daredevil, Daredevil 2, and Logan on Disney Plus. Um, so when you add the rated R movies, and then on top of that, the tie-in here is they're actually going with a TVMA cartoon. So a mature audience cartoon is coming to Disney Plus, and it's going to be based on, I believe, episode 5 of What If, which is the zombies issue. So Marvel Zombies, they're getting like their own show and that starts hopefully soon. There wasn't a date announced for that, but I know it's going to be TVMA. So that's pretty exciting because it's going to be, kind of bloody, kind of gory. If you remember how Deadpool is, it's rated R. I imagine it's going to be in the same vein. Um, and speaking of Marvel Zombies and what show they kind of came from, What If is coming back for season two. I did see something of a trailer online. However, I haven't seen anything confirming that this is actually their trailer and not something that's like fan made. So I can't really report on that. However, everything at Comic Con was pretty amazing. One of the big things that did come out was that the Peggy Carter in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was not the Peggy Carter of What If. So that is a different universe altogether. Like that was Earth 838. And then depending on where you stand on the debate, which I really don't stand one way or the other, it's either Earth 1999 or Earth 616, where it's the main MCU. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see kind of what they do with it, especially now that Captain Carter's going to be back and how they do different voices, who they bring in. I am a little jealous of the folks at Comic Con because they were able to see a full episode of What If season two already. So I'm sure that was pretty cool experience for them. I can't wait till stuff starts making its way out. And that's kind of the big announcements as far as TV is and animation is kind of concerned for Marvel. Their movies though, movies and TV and live action TV, like oh man, I mean, just kind of some of the highlights of things that are coming out for Phase 5 that have everything has dates already, which is fantastic. I can't wait. I know they showed a trailer for Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. I'm a lover of the Ant-Man movies. I think I love Paul Rudd. I think he's hilarious. So I'm very excited to see when that trailer gets made public since that's coming out in February of next year. You got Secret Invasion, obviously Guardians 3, probably the most what that's gonna be up there, I think, next year as far as just movies. Um Echo Loki season 2, which will be obviously the return of the wow meter. I will continue the wow meter because wow. Um and we got the Marvels coming off the back of Miss Marvel, which, by the way, folks, we got 2 weeks until I talk about the series and how it can potentially tie into the Marvels. Um, Now, there's the last three movies left on here, and one of the shows is actually something I really want to kind of take a little bit of time on. First of all, it's Blade. Um, if you grew up around my time, I'm 37 years old. I say the name Blade, you think Wesley Snipes. I mean, for all intents and purposes, saved Marvel with the original Blade movie. If you go and look at the history, they needed the money, and Wesley Snipes delivered. But I'm very excited to see what they do with Blade. Blade obviously has that nostalgia factor of like one of those characters that you remember. So there's already been a teaser of Marshall Ali. You heard his voice in the Eternals. So I'm very, very excited to see how they work vampires in and the Daywalker. The other two movies I'm looking forward to is Captain America: New World Order, just because it's Anthony Mackie is Captain America, and just a whole different. It's gonna be a whole different take, especially. And by the way, I love the fact that it's called New World Order. Like as a wrestling fan growing up, like I'm all about the New World Order, man. NWO for life. Um, and the last movie I do want to mention because I'm very excited to see who else they recruit is the Thunderbolts. For those who are unfamiliar with the Thunderbolts, the easiest way for me to describe them is the Suicide Squad for Marvel. They're the guys who, the bad guys who have to do a good mission. I think we know three of the characters, I think, already that are going to be in it. The Patriot, I'm drawing the blank right now, guys. The new Black Widow, and Baron Zemo. So hopefully a little bit more Baron Zemo dancing. I'm all for it. I do think Abomination will eventually make his way into there, like to be like their Hulk. Because remember, they're like a Dark Avengers kind of thing. So I'm very excited to see what Thunderbolts is going to do, as that's the movie that's going to close out Phase 5. And then the show that I was excited about is actually the Daredevil show because it's already been announced as an 18 episode series, which obviously blows anything that Marvel had put out of the water. I mean, I think the longest thing was 10 right now with WandaVision. So the fact they're already announced that it's going to be 18, and that's coming out spring of 2024, I think that's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to Daredevil. Um, then people were, and myself included, I do want to talk about the couple things they teased for phase six. And we'll talk about how they're going to end phase four because I think that's where they had their two trailers, which if you've, unless you've lived under a rock, you've obviously have seen them. So we're going to talk about them. Don't worry. Um, I was disappointed with the first, when the initial phase five, like I didn't know Feige was going to announce anything from phase six. When he announced it from phase five, and I didn't see Fantastic Four or any X-Men related movie per se, like an X-Men movie or Wolverine movie, something that, New Mutants, something, anything. Especially after coming off the back of Miss Marvel being revealed to be a mutant. Like I really thought, okay, they set that up for Comic Con to come with an X-Men movie. We're gonna find out Fantastic Four news, and this is gonna be awesome. Not the case. We did get a Fantastic Four date. It's going to open phase six on November 8th of 2024. So we're going to have to wait a couple years for that. And then we have two Avenger movies announced. Very excited for Kang Dynasty and more so for Secret Wars. Secret Wars is one of the greatest stories that they've done. I love the Infinity Saga, but as these three phases will now be known, 4, 5, and 6, as the multiverse saga, I think it really has the potential, just story wise, to really blow Infinity Saga out of the water just because of how things they can pull from within the multiverse. It's the abilities here are really amazing of what they can do and what they can grab, especially with everything that's now their property per se. Um, so the fact that the Fantastic Four movie was announced is exciting. I do think we are going to get probably a little bit more news as far as Fantastic Four in September at D23. I do think phase six things will be revealed there. They'll talk about some things a little bit more in detail, probably get some more trailers, things of that nature. Um, so be on the lookout for that in September. A lot of placeholders were, if you look at the picture online or here over my shoulder, a lot of placeholders are there for phase six. So I'm crossing my fingers that one of those things is in fact an X-Men movie or a mutant movie or something. I mean, everybody wants Wolverine. As much as I love Wolverine, I want Gambit. I've been dying for a Gambit, a real, not the one that they had. They had a really shitty Gambit in one movie. I want a good Gambit. I don't care who they get. I trust Marvel. But Gambit is one of my personal favorite mutants. So I need a good Gambit in my life. That being said, there are two things, as we said, that are the official wrap ups for phase four, and we cannot go without talking about it. The first one is the next show, which debuts August 17th, so right around the corner. That is She Hulk. The trailer definitely had me laughing, definitely showed its comedic roots between the air horn and just between She-Hulk actually breaking fourth wall. As if you know, I'm a fan of Deadpool, so any fourth wall break is always fun. So and none other than Daredevil makes an appearance in the trailer. So like I said, Daredevil is everywhere. And another person that's everywhere while I'm at it is Wong. Like this is actually the phase Wong as far as I'm concerned, because I think I saw a meme. And he's been in like 8 different things already, like between two Doctor Stranges, Spider-Man, What If, now She-Hulk. Like he's been everywhere, Shang-Chi. Like he's just been everywhere. So this is really like the Wong cinematic universe or phase Wong, if you will. So I love the fact of that. But where we didn't see Wong, and I would have been concerned if I did see him, to be honest with you, is in the first trailer for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That I I've never felt emotions the way I felt emotions for a trailer. for that trailer specifically. It was very like they did such a good job of just already showing how they're going to honor the memory of Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa, throughout the movie. I just saw the Nerdist actually just put out their video on just like the breakdown and how what it actually says like in the Wakandan language. They're like rest in power, King T'Challa, always our hero. It's and I'm paraphrasing there. I'm not, don't quote me. Really, really powerful stuff. And then you have the emergence of the Atlanteans, which I don't think they're going to be called that long term, but for the time being, let's call them that. Namor looks to be kind of a badass. And I'm curious to see who the new Black Panther is. I think it's probably Shuri. Um, but I do have a dark horse candidate. I've heard this theory floated around numerous places now, and it actually makes a whole ton of sense when you think about it. We, as of right now, don't know how long after the events of Endgame, Wakanda Forever kind of takes place, where it lands, or how, the MCU, it could be anywhere in the timeline, right? Um, so there's a theory out there that the Black Panther could be the queen. It could be Shuri and T'Challa's mom. Um, and I actually think it holds water just because Shuri and T'Challa got dusted in the blip. So someone had to step up and be the Black Panther for those 5 years. Who better person than the mom? There's really no other kin. Like the only other person that I imagine can do it is M'Baku. But if you saw those legs, like that wasn't Mbaku's legs. Like Mbaku's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it's very interesting to see. It comes out November 11th. I will be there probably that day or shortly thereafter. There's no way I'm missing that one. I am looking forward to seeing Thor on Friday. That's definitely going to happen because we still haven't gone, and I'm gonna go because I need to kill time before I get lost posted from work. So I'll be watching Thor on Friday. Looking forward to that. We are a little pressed on time today, folks, just because Mondo made this magical appearance coming out of nowhere, which, as always, is appreciated. But I do want to take a quick note. I did know, obviously, as a Panthers fan, Huberdeau getting traded for Matthew Tkachuk, very interesting deal. It's something I will discuss more in depth, but as much as people want to say, the only little thing I'll say about it now before I'll probably talk about it next week, people are saying that the Panthers probably lost this trade. I kind of disagree. I think maybe short term, it may be a little bit of a loss, but I think long term, this is going to pay off in the long run. But again, it's not that I don't want to talk about it. I'm a little pressed for time. I don't want to keep you all holding on here forever. So that being said, thank you all for listening. I appreciate y'all taking your time to either listen or watch the podcast. Um, Once again, subscribe, download, rate, and review. I appreciate all the support you guys give me. Please remember, if you are watching on YouTube, please download the pod, even if you don't listen to it. It at least helps me with metrics and numbers and see who's listening, who's watching. It helps me. So please remember, please subscribe, download, rate, and review once again. And as always, if you want to see on YouTube because you're listening, or follow on Instagram, search Alex's Disorganized Thoughts and you will find me. If you're looking for the Twitter and the Facebook, go to @AlexDisThoughts. Or if you feel the need to email me, as always, reach me at Gmail, AlexDisorganizedThoughts@gmail.com. Once again, thank you, Mondo, for flying in wherever you magically showed up from. Thank you for listening, folks, and have a good weekend. Take care.